I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And today we're going to be talking about, is my ex's silence a message?
Ooh. So to start off, I do want to say that I am now available for coaching, along with Coach Craig and Coach Margaret. So go to the top of the website and click on our names to sign up.
That's right, very quick and easy to do, and we make it nice and simple for you guys to get with us. You know, when we're in no contact and we haven't heard from our ex in a long time, sometimes, months, we wonder, what does it mean? Okay? And every situation is so different that it can mean a lot of different things. We wonder what they're experiencing, where they're at with things. Do they think about us? Are they missing us? Is no contact having an effect on them? What are the possibilities that go on in those situations? Because you think about where your ex is at, and you could look at it as a decision not to reach out to you, an active decision not to reach out to you, or to have responded to message that you had sent them. And so what are they trying to tell you? What could it mean, right? It could, because a lot of times we catastrophize and say, well, that's it. They're never going to reach out again.
Right.
But it's not that simple, right? And so we're going to talk about those concerns and a lot of different aspects of what silence can mean during no contact or after a breakup.
And you also might be wondering how intentional their silence is. Is it something that they forgot about and just don't want to message you back because they don't want to bother with it? Or is it something that they want you to know that they will not contact you? And so there is probably some intentionality to their silence. You have to remember that they're in a completely different mindset than you are. In their mind, they might find that silence is necessary for them to move on. Silence might be what they need right now, and that can be incredibly hurtful on your part. And it can feel like you lost connection with them. It can feel like something final. But you have to remember that that was a decision that they made and they're able to make.
Yeah. It hurts when somebody's silent towards you. It literally causes you physical pain. And it makes you just terrified that it's always going to be like that. And that is certainly not the case. Even if your ex is saying things like, I will never talk to you again, that doesn't mean that they're never going to talk to you again. It means right now they feel like they're never going to talk to you again. They're never going to talk to you again. Now, is it possible that they never talk to you again? Of course. We can't say that, in every situation exes reach out. It's certainly not the case. Every situation is so unique and so different for so many different reasons. But just understand that the things your ex tells you at the beginning of the relation or the breakup, or, the relationship ending, it doesn't always stay that way. Their feelings can change as the breakup progresses, as you continue to leave them alone. A lot of times after the breakup, we are incessant, repeatedly reaching out, stalking. I mean, we talked to somebody this week that was stalking and admitted to it to both of us. They had done coachings with both of us. We see it often. We see people stopping by work, contacting friends and family, doing all kinds of things. And, that can really anger your ex and really piss them off. So you really want to avoid doing that. They're trying to set a boundary right now. They're not ready to communicate with you. It's okay. Just because they don't want to communicate with you now doesn't mean they're always going to feel like that. So they're trying to protect themselves. They're trying to figure things out. Obviously, there are different reasons behind that because your situation is different than the next person's. But you want to respect their autonomy and their choice not to have a connection with you right now.
And it takes a lot of energy emotionally for them to engage in any type of conversation with you. For many of you, you want that connection, you want that bond, you want to have those deep emotional conversations with them. They're in the mind space where they cannot handle any more emotional labor at this point.
Especially if they're avoidant.
And so just remember that it takes energy for them, much more than you would expect and much more than you can think.
It really does. It's very draining. You'll hear people talk about like things are draining.
And especially if they have other things going on in their life that need tending to, texting you is probably not going to be in the forefront of their mind. And that's okay for now. It doesn't mean that it's going to be always, but that's just how it is now. Another point that I wanted to make as well is that many of you are hyper-focused on what your ex is doing now, what your ex is thinking now, how they're feeling now. I also want to remind you that probably during the relationship, they have expressed some of their concerns. You can probably guess to some degree some of the issues that they had with the relationship, maybe behaviors that you were doing, maybe issues in their own life. Listen to the things that they actually told you. Yes, on some level, their silence is a message, but don't forget the actual words that they express to you. Many times we can spiral with our thoughts, and our anxiety can create scenarios that don't exist and aren't real. Focus on what they told you.
Yeah. And a lot of times we get so anxious and just so focused on when are they going to come back, are they going to come back, that we can't get past that. And you have to really do the work. You have to really do the work to get through that. Because if you don't, you're going to get stuck in just the basics of no contact. And when your ex reaches out, you're not going to be ready. And we had another client that we both did a call with that did not do the work for at least 6 months after the breakup. Their ex came back. They made a bunch of mistakes and they came off way too strong. And it was somebody that had been watching the channel for years, that I had done coachings with several years ago, and then their ex had come back after like 7 or 8 months, and they were starting to see each other again. So it's very frustrating for me to see you guys get stuck on, are they coming back? You gotta focus on living your life, expecting them to come back. How are you gonna handle it? And if they don't come back, you're still gonna be in a position to be in a great place with all the people that you're dating from here on out, right? So do your best to really reflect on what your ex said they were frustrated with in the relationship. What were they unhappy with? And understand that this silence may be telling you, I have asked you to change these things over and over again and you didn't do it. So it might be a sign of exhaustion.
Right. Almost like I've said everything that needed to be said. I also wanted to address that many of you might be thinking that your ex wants you to reach out. You might be thinking that their silence is a way to provoke you to respond or you to reach out and try to contact them. I would highly advise against reaching out. First of all, if them giving you the silent treatment is their way of trying to get you to reach out, that's a form of manipulation. You want them to be direct, you want them to be mature, and you want them to be in that place where they're ready to have a conversation with you. And so I highly think it's a good idea to just wait and have them reach out to you first, for them to be clear with their intentions.
Yeah, and it's scary, but you have to realize that reaching out is a risk. And, you know, more often than not, you'll find that, or we find that as coaches, allowing them to reach out to you is a better way to bridge repairing the relationship.
And they ended the relationship, so the ball is in their court. They made that decision for the both of you.
Yeah. So if they want to have contact, let them reach out to you first. Of course, that's something we could talk about in a coaching with you guys, because a lot of times you guys ask that question and we could talk about it based on what happened, right? So even though you're scared that they're not going to reach out and you're worried that by leaving them alone you'll never hear from them again, while that's certainly a possibility, it would be immature of them and manipulative of them to expect you to chase them after they ended the relationship.
Yeah, I agree. And ultimately, their silence is sending the message to you that they are not ready yet. regardless of any other thoughts that you might have about the situation, whatever they're feeling, whatever they're thinking, they are not ready if they have not reached out to you yet. And you also have to remember that the flip side is true as well, that your silence is sending them a message. And the messages that you are sending with your silence and with you going into no contact is, I respect your boundaries. I honor this time and space that we have between us. And also that I'm okay without you. I think that's a big one.
That's absolutely huge. Displaying confidence after a breakup is one of the most attractive things that you can do. And I think our insecurities are really kind of exposed after a breakup.
Right.
And a lot of your insecurities are going to be exposed, and to the point where you may be like, I didn't even know I was capable of this. I didn't even realize I was capable of stalking, of going to their job, of following them, of doing a lot of these things. But now that you're aware of it, you really got to take a close look at it and work through those issues, because they've come out in other ways in the relationship that you just weren't aware of. So allowing them this space, whether it may be temporary or if they just don't want you in their life anymore, and being okay with that is the ultimate way of showing them confidence. And we hear it time and time again in different types of breakup scenarios, that when you accept it and you don't trace the person or try and get them back by manipulating and grand gestures and handwritten letters and all those things, they're a lot more likely to think, you know what, maybe I'm making a mistake here.
Right. You want them to reconsider the relationship on their own. And that takes time, that takes reflection, that takes a whole process of healing through the breakup.
Yep.
So,
and one last thing, your ex is probably scared too. Now, they may not be scared at the initial breakup. They're not afraid of losing you when they've just broken up with you. But 4 or 5 months later, they realize you're not chasing them. They haven't heard from you. They start to look at your social media. There's a good chance that they are scared to reach out to you. And that's why they often do an indirect direct when they reach out, because they are scared that you're going to reject them, ironically, right?
Right.
So that is another thing that the silence can mean, is that they're afraid to talk with you. I had somebody recently that the ex said, I thought you hated me.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were the one that had done the dumping, and they were like scared. I thought you hated me, so I was afraid to reach out.
Wow. And they did.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things that could be going on with your ex, and every situation is so unique. And of course, that's why we're here for coaching. If you want to get my help personally, you can do it on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching, I do Skype. Of course, Coach Victoria is here.
I am excited to speak with you.
And you can sign up with her by clicking on Victoria on the top of the website. And Coach Margaret is available too for Skype coaching. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.